Welcome back to Students' Journey Across Borders, the podcast where we dive into the stories and experiences of students living and studying abroad. I'm your host, Beatrice, and today we're closing our three-part series with Edoardo, a second-year student currently attending Erasmus University in Rotterdam.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, the pleasure is mine. So, if you've been following along, you'll know that Edoardo has a pretty interesting international background. Now he's studying in the Netherlands, but he also spent the last 2 years of high school in Ireland. Over the past 2 episodes, we've heard about his journey, the challenges of studying abroad, and some valuable advice for anyone considering a similar path. But today's episode will be a bit different and hopefully a lot of fun. We're going to dive into some of Edoardo's funniest and most memorable stories from his time abroad. So sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh. So, Edoardo, let's start with one of your stories. Maybe something that was really funny and unexpected?
Alright, here's a story. Imagine this, it was my first year abroad in Ireland, the COVID pandemic was still around, and Christmas was coming up, so I was about to head back home to Spain. In those days, me and my volleyball team went to play a tournament in another city, so we spent the night there. Later, I found that one of my teammates had tested positive to COVID. Now, I still believe that I could have avoided the virus, but of course in that moment I decided to take a test with a friend of mine who was also in the team.
Wait, but where were you?
In that moment I was out on the street. I bought a test in the nearest shop I could find, and yeah, I found I was positive. But the best thing is that my friend was not, so that was kind of funny and depressing at the same time. Anyway, I rushed home wearing my mask and let my host family know. They were hosting their daughter at that time with a disease that affected her lungs, so they didn't want to take any risk, of course. So at the end, they decided to quarantine me in their basement. Now, the room didn't have any restroom facilities, as you can imagine, so my host's mom was kind enough to give me a bucket to use for my needs. Eventually, I had to stay there until I could fly back to Spain, and unfortunately, I had to leave that precious bucket behind. And yeah, that's my unforgettable Christmas quarantine story from Ireland.
No way, that sounds like a very memorable story. Probably also for your host family. Now, could you give us a funny story from your time in the Netherlands?
Let me think. Well, there's a quick story about my time as a student in Rotterdam. So it was a typical Dutch rainy day, and like everyone else here, I was biking home after an intense uni day. I was crossing over some tram tracks and honestly not paying much attention. Suddenly, I found myself on the ground, my wheel got caught on there, and I went flying off the bike. It was a dramatic scene. Just imagine, pouring rain, other cyclists whizzing past me, and there I was, sprawled out in the middle of the street. Just one of the many adventures I've had here in the Netherlands.
Oh, I hope you didn't get hurt.
No, actually not at all, I just laughed it off. I usually try to react positively from these situations, though from that day on I try to be very careful when I ride a bike, especially when it's dark or the streets are crowded. So, if you're in the Netherlands, remember to keep your eyes open.
It sounds like studying abroad has given you a lot of funny and unforgettable moments.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Thank you for sharing them with us and for giving us such an honest look into the ups and downs of studying abroad. Well, that brings us to the end of our mini-series with Edoardo. We hope you're enjoying hearing about his journey from Ireland to the Netherlands, and maybe you even learn a few things along the way. Thank you for tuning in, and a huge thanks to our host for sharing his experiences.
Of course, thank you for having me.
I can't wait to have you back on the podcast soon. Be sure to join us next time for more stories from students around the world. Until then, take care and keep dreaming big.